Hello, welcome to Eyewitness Report. It is often said that you cannot do a kindness too soon, for you never know how soon it will be too late. We're all connected in one way or the other. Reason an action or inaction comes around to make or break. Now, the story of Chidima and Chima, who both died in a road crash involving an unlatched container-laden truck on the 26th of July, continues to raise dust over the state of our roads, safety of road users, and the recklessness of drivers who, in spite of various warnings, fail to latch their vehicles. Now, today's program is dedicated to the sad incident that appears to have stirred our renewed vigor to keep our roads safer. Join us. I'm Chris Elems. A road crash on the 26th of July 2020 at the Lassa bus stop in Lagos left on its trail injury and death of some passengers in a bus. An unlatched container-laden vehicle lost control, smashing a bus with some passengers loading by the bus stop. This is the ever-busy Apapa Woshoki Expressway, and of course we are at the Lassa bus stop where the incident took place. And behind me is the container that led to the death of Chidima and Chima. An eyewitness paints a picture of what transpired on that day.
That very day on Sunday, so as Sienna went to pass, so other people where they cross, people who are walking, want to cross, the Sienna slow for them. So as we said, the trailer is on with full speed. I said, make it turn and that's what the thing, some son, press the downfall. That's what happened.
However, the police public relations officer in Lagos confirmed the incident and gave his version of what happened.
From the brief I got from the on-the-spot assessment of the investigators and also some eyewitnesses' account that were gathered from the scene, the accident was actually caused by two trucks that were trying to overtake each other. One fell on the bus, on a commercial bus. That's why the casualty is mostly from that bus. It really crushed the bus down. Two persons died instantly. Three persons were rushed to hospital. One eventually died while on admission. Two are still receiving treatment.
34-year-old mother of three, Eunice Nwabeze, made it out alive, but sustained injuries that have kept her bedridden at Unique Care Hospital in Ilasamaja, where she's currently fighting for her life.
The tanker fell on them while she was still sitting inside the bus, compressed the bus, and was badly injured in a critical state now. She broke a pelvis bone and also broke her jaw. Because her heart, the chest was affected, and her lower leg also was affected. Right now, we have moved from different hospitals from one to another. She was, that very evening, she was rushed to the General Hospital. So she was only given a first aid. She couldn't be treated there. So we were referred that night to a FMC, a Busemeta, where we stayed 3 days. We carried out several tests, scans, and were even referred to go and do a brain scan.
Two other passengers in the bus, Chidima Ajoku and Chima Nnegbe, both staff of the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, were not that lucky. They died on the spot. They were on their way back from work when the incident happened. The accident has left both families distraught and hoping it was all a bad dream. But all they could do now is hold on to the memories they shared with their beloved children.
She used to work 2 days morning, 2 days night, and when she comes back the following morning after the second night shift, she'll call me from wherever. She'll just go straight to the supermarket and call me, "Mommy, what do you need?" I'll give her a list. I need milk, I need this, I need that, and toilet roll. She'll buy everything. And since my husband died, once she's off duty and she comes to Aja, she used to sleep with me, you know. And we used to joke about how she liked air condition and that I didn't really like AC, and that she would put it so cold and my feet will all be, you know, tight and all that. And she would say, just enjoy it. When I go back, you will still go, use your fan. And just overnight, you know, I just had, you know, the cold hands of death just snatched her away from me, just like that. And if she was sick, I would have, you know, I would have endured it. I would have had more peace. But the fact that she was killed by a reckless driver, you know.
My brother, it took God to keep me standing. You know, the boy was expecting his call. That day I'm home, or something happened, I'm home now. The call they're getting is that go to the morgue and pick his body. It was a tough one. But as Christians, the Bible says we should not mourn at those who have no hope. That's what is keeping us. It's been tough, especially when you consider that this boy, with all modesty, was a very good boy, humble, obedient. To die that kind of painful death, that's what gets to me. I mean, that's what I remember, and I lose my sleep. You know, everybody was calling me, this boy does not deserve to die like that. He doesn't deserve it. My son had 2 bus stops to get home.
I couldn't believe that this son, Chima Victor, would die this way because of the circumstances of his birth. When he was 3 months old, somebody hit me in the dream, and that was the end of the pregnancy. And when we went to the hospital, I was asked to come and evacuate it so that I'll be able to conceive again. But because of the faith I had in God, I didn't go. I didn't go on the date of that appointment. Then 3 days after the appointment, the pregnancy came back to life. See what God can do. And because of that, I never believed that he would still die an untimely death. So that's why I found it hard to take it in when I heard the news. But somehow God just gave me the strength to take it because of what God said, that all things work together for those that love God. That's the way I've taken it.
The impact of Chidima's death on her siblings is also quite devastating. According to her younger brother, Obina, she died by her worst nightmare.
One thing that really hit me is because whenever I'm in a car with my sister, Didi, and we're passing trailers, she starts holding my hand like she knows, she's always seen stories about how trailers fall. So even sometimes it's so annoying to me. I'll be like, why are you holding me? Like, just leave me. And then, so dying by her worst nightmare is what even pained me the most. Is this trailer thing that she has always been scared of. Because I know after my dad died, because my dad died of health issues, she started being careful with her health. All of us had to start watching what we eat, try to start exercising more. And then imagine watching that and then you die from accident. So it's like, if it's not your health that is killing you, it's an accident or it's armed robbery or something. So you really don't know how life will go. If this is someone that was making plans to go for her master's in September, but then with the COVID, she wanted to go wait to January and now see how everything goes. So like I'm trying my best to not break down in front of my mom, because I mean, if I'm like that and she sees me, how will she now be? This is someone that's hypertensive, so I'm trying to watch over her health too.
While 27-year-old Chidima Joku was a graduate of International Law and Diplomacy from Babcock University, 29-year-old Chima was an economic graduate of the Covenant University. But art was his passion, a dream his father would want kept alive.
They had a passion for us, and that is the dream he had. That day I'm going to be one of the best, even that, and many people acknowledge that. So that was a dream he had. And those also who want to look at his works, because he was going to publish something. he was thinking of doing those things. I have his works that there are plenty of them that some people see and they marvel, say, you studied economics and you're doing this. So if that dream could be realized, even in his absence, it will give me uncommon joy, really, that his passion has been realized in his absence.
Recklessness and irresponsibility of drivers cause these families the pain and anguish they've had to go through. And they say it's time to put an end to this level of lawlessness.
I would like the government to step into this. They don't latch the containers. The containers just, sometimes the roads are bad. They'll just enter a gallop and this thing will fall off. It's every day. And I could remember somebody was telling me that the whole family coming back from church, the container just fell on top of them. And so many awful stories. So I just want to use this medium to appeal to the people in charge, maybe the Ports Authority or something, to make sure that these things, they make sure that they like the containers. We are not saying that containers will not carry goods to their destinations, but let there be proper, let there be a law, so that if anybody does not keep to the law, the person will be brought to book. Let there be justice in this country for once.
If you see the way they drive, it's as though they are on assignment to shed blood. As soon as they do it, they bolt away. And then it continues another day. So, what I am saying that should stop. Because what comes round goes round. He has a way of going round. And you never know who is the next person. You don't know who will be the next victim. That's why that impunity must stop. There should be sanity on our roads. It's not just about these container drivers. What about the community, the buses going against the traffic? Against the traffic. All those things are the things that are causing untimely death. So I am saying that government should pursue it to a logical conclusion.
Still shrouded in mystery is the identity of the driver and owner of the unlatched truck that caused the accident. He was said to have bolted from the scene with particulars of the truck, but the police say they are on the driver's trail and making progress.
But there are some few documents that we have seen that suggest some numbers, a particular number which we are tracing to Ogun State, not Lagos here. So our investigators are working on that. There are other leads that our investigators are working on that will not be too proper to disclose at this stage of the investigation, towards identifying the owner of that particular truck and apprehending the driver that drove it, because from the initial inquiry there are elements of recklessness on the parts of the drivers, which we have discovered so far from the eyewitness accounts and from the mapping of the accident scene that was done. So the driver, definitely we are on the trail of the driver. We are very close at identifying who owns that truck. So once we get the owner of the truck, definitely whoever is the driver also must be traced and apprehended. So we are very close at that.
While road crashes continue to impact safety, the Federal Road Safety Corps says arrests are being made and fines are being paid by violators, with over 4,000 trucks arrested last year. The Road Safety Corps and other agencies must synergize and double their efforts to curtail this menace and stop the mindless killings on the road. Road crashes involving articulated vehicles have continued to be a source of concern to relevant agencies, including the Federal Road Safety Corps. According to available statistics, out of 553 road crashes recorded in 2019, incidents caused by articulated vehicles were 303, which is about 54% of all the crashes. According to the Lagos State Sector Commander, even during the total lockdown, when fewer cars plied the road. Accidents by articulated vehicles were still recorded.
Between January and July, we have recorded 51 crashes, and out of these 51, 50 were involving articulated vehicles. You know why it's like that? Almost within the span of 3 months, the COVID shut down, and the only categories of vehicles that were actually plying the road were the articulated vehicles by virtue of being essential vehicles carrying essential items. So you can imagine, even despite the fact that they were having the priority of the road network, they were still getting involved in crashes. So it's an indication that if other road users were actually with them within this period, you can imagine the number of lives that would have been affected.
Section 151, subsection 2 of the National Road Traffic Regulation 2012 as amended stipulates punitive measures for errant drivers and their owners. Yet the much that has been achieved pales significantly when compared to what still obtains on our roads.
Once they violate this special regulation 1512, they'll be so charged before a mobile court, and they'll get the punishment therefrom. Any person who contravenes the provision of this commits an offense and shall be liable on conviction to a fine of 5,000 or to a term of 9 months imprisonment or to both. Yes, you might say it's not commensurate, but that is the law. We start from here.
While the challenges of curbing the menace of unlatched vehicles linger, the various agencies claim effort has been intensified to completely address this threat on our roads.
If you look at our enforcement in 2019 alone, we were able to arrest 4,822 trucks, articulated vehicles in Lagos State alone. And for this year alone, that's between January and July, we've been able to arrest 500 despite the lockdown.
During a visit of the Attorney General of Lagos State to the family of one of the victims, he spoke on the state government's efforts to revisit the existing traffic regulation in the state in order to give the document more bite and scope to tackle the complexities of using Lagos roads.
The governor was so upset. He said that in that law we are currently amending, that we should ensure that containers that are not latched, that if they then fall off the trailer and injure anybody or damage any property, we will hold the owners of that container responsible, in addition to the owners of the truck and the driver. So we are going to add that to the amendments which we are proposing to the Lagos State House of Assembly.
This point was further corroborated by the Commissioner for Transportation, who expresses the ministry's concern over the danger posed by these drivers.
We have about 91 trucks that we have apprehended so far. And I know that the minimum charge, depending on what you've done, is about 200,000. I'm not familiar with the 5,000. I think that's just ridiculous. But we're also looking for the driver who absconded, and obviously they will go to jail. So what are we doing for now? So we've had meetings with major stakeholders like the Nigerian Port Authority. We've had meetings with the Shippers Council and the unions, just to make sure that we are on the same page.
Adebayo Ayobami is a driver who says he noticed a fault on one of the wheels of his truck and had to park until it is resolved. A decision he claimed so many other drivers will never make. A 40-foot container, for example, should have at least 4 twist locks. However, some of the drivers find this a luxury they cannot afford.
Once you put the container on the body, you have to hook. But some of the drivers, they are not taking care of their vehicle to hook all these things. So the container can fall at any time if you're not very careful. And then some of the drivers, they are not taking care of their motor. Sometimes thief, all those things.
Let me tell you what happened. So when they come out of the port, it is large. But, I mean, when they're in there, it is large. But when they come out, they'll latch the thing. And the reason they have given, which is very, I mean, it's very unfortunate, is that most of the vehicles they use is not insured. However, the goods is insured. So if an accident happens and the thing tumbles, they don't want the vehicle to tumble with the goods, and that's why they'll latch it. And that's why we need to put people on the road to ensure that at every interval, we ensure that this thing is bolted to the vehicle. Secondly, what is most important is to make sure that the vehicle is actually adequate to carry the load.
Some drivers have also been found to engage in high alcohol intake and substance abuse before embarking on journeys. A situation at the biofields is reinforced by law enforcement agents who are complicit in the matter.
Mostly you can see all these container boys, they will sit down with police and smoke and drink, which means it's very, very wrong. So the people where they say that made them even take all those things, they also they are sit down with them and take all this. That is very wrong.
We would have a monitoring team that will go around to ensure that nobody is sitting down idle, drinking with the drivers. And that's something that we have to put in place, especially in a Papa area.
While long-term measures have been put in place by the Lagos State government to arrest these crashes, short-term plans have already taken off.
VIO have been asked to work in collaboration with FRSC. We had a very fruitful meeting where we would actually go on the road. I think one of the concerns they've always had was that when they go on the road and then they stop trucks, they might cause build-up. But I think it has become necessary that we find a suitable spot where we can pull them over, and then we can look at their vehicles, and then we can look at the papers and just make sure that they have the right papers before we allow them to go. And some of the things that we want to do in the medium to long term is to ensure that the gateways into Lagos have weigh bridge, so that we can weigh the goods that they're carrying. I mean, some of these trailers cannot carry more than 33 tons, but you see them carrying 60 tons, 90 tons, etc. So all these will be in place. I think one thing that you haven't mentioned, which is a critical problem for them, is that we need to provide adequate parking space, especially when they're waiting to go into to collect their goods. So the government is looking into that. We're working with the federal government, we're working with the private sector to provide adequate parking space, and then to deploy a call-up system.
The Lagos traffic regulation prohibits the movement of these vehicles from 6 a.m. to 9 p.m. However, various interferences, directives and counter-directives have succeeded in making the bulldog all barks and no bites. While the affected families finally come to terms with what has befallen them, closure for them is to see this level of lawlessness curbed once and for all.
If their blood is going to bring justice, that is enough. I'll have my peace. I'll have peace. So let shedding of that blood not be in vain. And then they think all these things will just continue as if nobody cares.
Recklessness or irresponsibility on our roads has no tribe nor religion. Therefore, any attempt to give it an ethno-religious coloration must be resisted. Violators must be visited with the full weight of the law. They must not be allowed to escape justice or go scot-free. Road users deserve better. May the souls of the departed rest in peace. Amen. You can be part of Eyewitness Report by simply taking those shots that tell your story and upload same to the Eyewitness portal, which you can get on the Channels TV app. Add locations and contact while uploading your content. That way, we can follow up on your story. Now let's see what you have for the week. These photos and videos show what the residents of Igbogun village in Bejuleki LCDA are allegedly subjected to by hoodlums whom the people claim are in connivance with the police. They claim that those arrested in connection with the case were released to continue their mayhem on them. They want the AIG to please look into their distressing situation over land grabbing. These photos are those of Jalingo-Gembu Road, an area that boasts of enormous tourism potential. Our eyewitness is appalled by what has become of the road and wants the government to quickly intervene. This eyewitness video shows the experience of a passenger traveling through Olugbo to Sapele. Is saddened by the state of the road, which has continued to worsen due to lack of attention. He wants the government to pay some attention here.
Board on the road, you see, because of the, can you see that? This is fuel. You can see people scooping it.
The final video is a heartbreaking video of a container-laden vehicle without a back tire captured by an eyewitness around Ojuelegba. This is a clear disaster waiting to happen.
This is no joke. Look at the other tire on the left. You can see it's moving. Wait a little. You see it rolling. It's not packed. It is not packed. Look at it. It is not packed. And the trailer, look, is kind of slanted. You might not see it here clearly like that, but it's kind of slanted to the right. This is a disaster waiting to happen in Nigeria, in Lagos, near Ojuelegba again.
Those are your shots. Do keep them coming. However, before we go, the Itire Road in Itire Cartel Local Council Development Area is still in a bad shape. Eyewitness report does not intend to move away from there until something is done on that road. So the relevant authorities should do well to fix the failed portion of the road. Till next week, I'm Chris Elems, and I'll keep my eyes on you. Bye-bye.